So I hope this is starting to paint a picture of what my life was like as a child. Very isolated, not allowed to leave, go anywhere without permission. Permission's never granted. Not allowed to talk to any extended family. I don't really see any of my extended family very regularly except for phone calls because a lot of them don't live there. My uncle that lived in town, my parents did not have a great relationship with him. I wonder why. So yeah, I'm pretty isolated except for school. That's the only place that I see people, and I don't really talk to people outside of that other than my brothers and my mom. And yeah. So talked about a little bit about like what the household environment was, and that things were very tense. There was lots of fights around money. There was lots of fights around just, limiting information. My dad basically is a drill sergeant. The house has to be pristine, and children, things are not going to be pristine. So a lot of that yelling about like cleaning up things and things of that sort, and children being loud and messy. I don't think that he understood that those were just things that children do, but that's the general environment that I'm living in. So another story I'll share is about our family dog, Sweet Pea, which I know my brothers probably remember Sweet Pea. She was there for a good 15 years. She had a very long life. Unfortunately, Sweet Pea was also a prisoner in the sense that she was literally chained in our backyard for most of her life. Yeah, it wasn't until much later in my life that I realized like people let their dogs inside. What? As I sit next to my dog. Yeah, that was a very foreign concept to me. And when I would see it on TV shows, I was like, oh, that's just, it felt like a fantasy thing that people like wrote about for TV, but it wasn't real. Anyways, she was a guard dog. She was there really to bark and alert from strangers, and she definitely did a lot of the barking. I remember she was very good at that. So yeah, I think the dog really was very symbolic in the sense of how things were treated in my family, right? Like, I think in a lot of families, a dog is very beloved and can be, almost seen as a family member. And that's definitely how I treat my dogs and my current pup. And I think that's really important for my story later, but that's neither here nor there. She had a job, she had a role, and that was it, right? She was as good as her role, which was to guard the house and guard the yard and make sure that it was secure. Did we need a guard dog in the middle of suburbia where there are break-ins? Absolutely not. Like, I don't think I ever recall hearing of a burglary or anything of that sort in my neighborhood my entire life. It was a very quiet community, right? Anyways, I remember there was one time that my dad let her off her chain, and he had forgotten that he had left the side gate open before he let her out, and she took off and zoomed all around the neighborhood. And I think this is really important because I remember my dad's reaction to her zooming off. He ran down to, the front of the house and was basically like, that damn dog, like, I'm not gonna bother chasing her down. He didn't even bother to go look for her. Didn't even think to get in the car, go drive around, look for her. He was just like, whatever, she's gone. Weird, right? I think of that as weird now. At the time, I was just like, huh, okay, are we not gonna go look for a dog? Because I remember seeing on shows that people like put up wanted signs and, go walk around or drive around to look for their dogs. Like, that was not going to be the case here. Like, if she was gone and she had a new family, like, she was gone. This man was not about to go look for this dog. So a few hours later, She comes back. She finds her way back to the yard, and my dad thought that was the funniest thing ever and would tell people that story. And the way that I see it now, I know why he thought it was so funny, because that dog was chained up for most of her life, right? Like, if you imagine being stuck on a chain for all your life, all you want is to be free and be able to run around. And she had her freedom and came back to be chained for the rest of her life again. Like, So, yeah, I can tell why my dad thought that story was very funny, especially considering the wider climate of my family, right? So she went, of course, right back to being chained up for the rest of her life. I don't think she ever got out ever again after that. But yeah, that's my family dog. The reason how she passed away, I think she was about 15. And honestly, my dad didn't really care for her. Like, she never went to the groomers. Like, I think my little brother might have like brushed her sometimes when her coat would change for the winter, but like, she wasn't a beloved dog. She was just kind of there, honestly. And I think my little brother probably played with her the most. I was not close to her because she actually like nipped at me and barked at me a lot, and she was not very friendly with me, and I don't know why, but I never really bonded with her as like a pet or animal or anything of that sort. I was actually really scared of her. So yeah, when she turned 15, my dad buys all these trees because he's like, wow, this damn dog is still alive. Like, let me celebrate her. I thought for sure she'd be dead by now. And he buys her some treats, and one of those treats is rawhide, which if anyone has a dog, you know you're not supposed to give your dog rawhide unsupervised. He does. He gives her the rawhide and basically comes back an hour or so later or whatever, and she's choked and died. And he also thought that was so funny because he just bought all. So unfortunately, my camera cut off and I lost quite a bit of video. So I think we're just gonna wrap up the family dog story, and then I will move on, hopefully, and get this done a lot quicker because my phone was very unhappy with me. It overheated, so it took a little bit longer to kind of get back. So I apologize. There's definitely going to be a pretty sharp jump in this video. So yeah, my dog, family dog, CP, 15, my dad gives her treats basically to celebrate